What's up, Jersey? It's your boy Juann Donn, chilling with my homies at BCMG Baseline Studios. They got 10 questions for me. We're going to figure out what's up, what they talking about, all right? Let's get into them. All right. If you had to build a Mount Rushmore of musical influences, who would your four be? Wow. So first and foremost off the bat, Stevie Wonder. Um, I think that kind of his style, I definitely try to emulate as far as the versatility, as far as being able to do a lot of different music, a lot of different styles, but also kind of making it your own in a way, and setting trends. And you know what I'm saying? He did all that with the lights off. You know what I'm saying? So that's just unbelievable. Jay-Z, that's my favorite rapper. Just he I'm sitting here today wanting to own a record label because of him. You know what I'm saying? To really own myself, to really like to understand that that was even possible. You know what I'm saying? Like looking around, you know, my environment, circumstances, it wasn't really showing me that. But you know, he kind of had worse circumstances or something. I kind of, you know, when I looked up his story, so I kind of got a lot of motivation from him, a rags to riches story, and how to do it. I got the blueprint from him, no pun intended. I would say after that. Okay, so they're a group. They're not an actual act, but they're a group. So Parliament Funkadelic. I'm from Plainfield, so that's where a lot of them are from. Shout out to George Clinton. Hopefully he see this. But you know, definitely. I mean, they are just unbelievable. They have literally so many people sampled their music, and it's with great reason. And the messages they talk about. I mean, they have a unbelievable balance of making great music and great messages and meaningful lyrics and things that you know pass the test of time, you know what I'm saying? And for the fourth person, the fourth musical act, I would have to say Hezekiah Walker. I would have to say Hezekiah Walker. He's a gospel artist. I'm foundation is in gospel. I mean, my parents are, you know, in the church, grandparents in the church. So, you know, I kind of was singing in the children's church early, really, really early. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she wanted to be an opera singer, but you know, things were different for her. So I guess I kind of am trying to live that, if you would, and things of that nature. But definitely Hezekiah Walker. I mean, I just remember countless times listening to his music. And yeah, it's special for sure. All right. What emotion do you find yourself writing about the most? Emotion. Well, the emotion I would say I write about the most is joy. I write about it's funny that that's my grandmother's name. I kind of have like that rags to riches idea as well. You know, came up on humble beginnings, like I'm sure many artists have, but I just rap about kind of what it's gonna be like at the hilltop. It's funny that I'm a very poetic person. It's funny that my last name is Hilliman. I kind of see things from that view, like the top of the hill, but it's gonna be a climb. And so I kind of talk about that a little bit without being too cliche, kind of keeping it real, because my story is real. I don't fake it, you know what I'm saying? I try to speak truth, but I definitely say I talk joy because, yeah, I mean, going through some stuff, but we're gonna make it. We're gonna be all right, you know what I'm saying? Number 3, do you usually start with the beat or the feeling? It's all about a feeling for me. I even played sports that way. I used to play running back. And that's just how I really did my thing, was a feeling. You know, obviously you prepare yourself, you get yourself ready for stuff, but it's all about a feeling for me. You got to flow, but if you don't feel it, it ain't going to sound right. You're going to hear it. You know, they're going to hear it. So that's what that's about. If your music had a color, what would it be and why? That's perfect. It's perfect because I'm sitting behind the exact color, orange. That's my favorite color. I believe orange is probably the most diverse color, versatile color, I'm sorry, in the whole spectrum. Why? Because it could be, you know, dark like a red, but bright like a yellow. And I feel like that's my music, you know what I'm saying? Not the fact it's dark, but I mean, there's dark points in it, but you know, it's like I said, it's a lot of joy, rags to riches, that idea, versatility. You can't really put my music in a box, and you can't do that with orange either, you know what I'm saying? Um, what's the most meaningful reaction someone's ever had to one of your songs? Oh, wow. It cried, actually. It shed some tears. And it was a song that wasn't released. I think now that I think about it, I may, you know, see if I could work it into the album some way, that I'm, you know, future project that I'm working on. But yeah, they cried. They said it was relatable. And I think that was something that was big for me, is to have music that, you know, people feel. Like I said, it's all about a feeling for me. So, you know, they cried. That was pretty big. Do you remember your first show and what went right and what went wrong? Oh God. Sorry, Lord. So my first show was actually like a really small thing. It was actually a duo. I was part of a duo at one point, like 2 years ago. Since then, we've kind of disbanded. We've went our own ways, and it's nothing crazy. It's all been amicable. But so we went to the show, and at first we didn't have our stuff, so we put the I triple checked the music. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, you got to just keep on checking, make sure, right? Always keep a backup. So I put came in, showed the DJ, gave him the hard drive, and first song, nothing. We supposed to have 3 songs. First song, nothing. Second song, nothing. Third song, nothing. So we just kind of went a cappella. And people clapped and they got involved and they was doing all that. It actually became a really dope show. It was not planned, but we actually and so it kind of showed us you guys kind of flow. You gotta, like I said, the feeling. You gotta flow with it. I feel like if we stopped right there, you definitely would have lost respect, the crowd, whatever, because that happens. So you just got to keep going and you got to be patient in this game. And that's what I learned from that. So that went wrong and right at the same time, if you would. Okay, what's the most unforgettable crowd reaction you've ever had? Oh, wow. So this was kind of like I was trying to test. I love the rhyme sayers of the 80s and the 90s and the guys that used to really rock the crowd, like the LLs and the Canes and the Rakims, the guys that really used to get the crowd going. And so, I kind of said, okay, I got some time at the end of a beat. I kind of judged it off whether I was going to do it or not based off of how well the performance was, how well the crowd was rocking with the song. And so they were rocking with the song. And so I said, I'm going to say my name. I got about 4 or 5 bars. I'm going to say my name a few times, see if they say it back to me. I said it 3 times. They said it back real loud, louder every time. And I said, now scream. And then they screamed crazy. And I felt like I was in the 80s. Like I felt like I had the Dookie chain on. Like I rocked the crowd like the Grand Masters of the past. You know what I'm saying? And so that felt pretty good. And and it just told me to just go after it. You know what I'm saying? Just to really, I think that's what they did. They went for it. And I think the crowd felt that and they felt them. So that's what that was. When you're recording, what instantly tells you, yeah, that's the one? How long it takes me. I think once again, the feeling, right? If it doesn't take me that long, then usually, I'm saying the right stuff. Usually it's the right fit. Usually, this is what it needs to be. A lot of times I feel like and this is not a knock on other people. I work with other people. Obviously, hip hop's a competition, but it's a community. So you got to work with people. But at the same time, I'm working with other folks. And I feel like a lot of times it's like, okay, I'll see what you want, but I'm not really on that, but I rock with you, but I'm, what I'm saying? It's like you got to fit it. You kind of hear it, you know what I'm saying? You kind of hear it sometimes. But a lot of times I've freestyled versus like it never touched the pen. I've wrote songs in full songs, hook, everything in 12, 15 minutes, literally. And it's not even trying to make it big, but it's literally the feeling. The beat was just on and the words just kind of write themselves. And so, yeah, man, when you just feel it, it happens, happens. People in the room or you and the mic. Wow, this is so, okay. It's funny. I was talking to a few artists about this like a while ago, and they were like, I don't really like nobody in the room. I don't really like nobody in the room. Da 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 da. And I was sitting at the table or the control panel, right? And I was just sitting there on my Dr. Dre, and I'm like, well, do you plan on one person listening to it, or do you plan on millions of people listening to it? Because at some point, you're going to have to perform it with people. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. I understand like the whole, you got to keep it. But for me, I really don't care. That's my, answer. But I feel like I understand people that, I don't want nobody in there. I got to stay locked in. But I can also understand, hey, I'd rather have people up in there because at the end of the day, you got to perform it. If they don't like it, if they were such and such, music is whatever. It's relative, right? Based on whoever. So if they don't like it, somebody else likes it, you like it. That's the most important thing. So for me, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter at all. Just keep the cool energy. Don't disturb anything. That's all that matters. All right. And if your sessions had a theme song, what would it be? And it would be Soul Brother #1 by Pete Rock off of the Mecca and the Soul Brother album, their first album with Pete Rock and CL Smooth. I think that's a theme song of mine. I've always felt that way about myself. Soul Brother #1, straight, black on both sides. That's my style, period, end of story. And so I always felt like, I was just a really cool dude. I never was really loud. I never was really, none of that. And so my sessions kind of reflect that because my music reflects me. I'm not trying to trick nobody. I ain't trying to dupe nobody. This is me. And so It's what you're gonna get. My sessions is soul brother, nice and cool, but we rough too. Don't try him. He's kind of tough. So yeah. And that's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Chilling with my people in BCMG and Baseline Studios. It's your boy Juann Donn. 10 questions. Yeah.